Today we're going to watch Cody take Map Chat, our free VR game, and we are going to change it from a hand-tracked game to a controller-tracked game. Be sure to let us know what you want to see us add next into the game in the comments, and also let us know what types of videos, tutorials you want to see on our YouTube channel. Be sure to like and subscribe, and let's get into the video.
All right, everyone, here we are. My name is Cody, also known as Jordan's alter ego. Jordan says I don't capture or document enough of what's happening in the background behind the scenes. So that's what I'm doing today. And I just got a text from Jordan. Let's see what he wants. Oh, he's sending me a meme. I'm going to tell him I'm currently recording OBS. Aren't you proud of me? He's going to be really proud of me. I just opened up Map Chat, which honestly I haven't looked at in maybe a month or so. Jordan and I have been really focused on the latest Derby update, so we neglected Map Chat a little bit. This is the downside to being two people working on everything. A lot of you said that hand tracking sucks on the Quest, and so I think my goal today is to fix that, to bring back controller tracking. So let's just try it and see what happens. So I'm going to put on the headset here. Meta Horizon. Half this job is just me restarting devices. So what should happen is when I hit play from the editor, it should detect that I have my headset connected, and then I should be able to move the screen as I move my headset. What normally will also happen is controllers will work, but I know that it's configured for hand tracking, so controllers will not work. So here goes. Let's see what happens. I'm gonna hit play. There we go. So we have loaded in to Map Chat. I can move the headset around. You'll see down in the game view that it's updating correctly. What is not updating correctly is my hands. But the goal here is to get controllers back and working. So that was first step. I'm going to disable the previous hand tracking that was set up before, and then I'm going to test it all on my Quest controllers. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at what my setup was before. So if you remember, we're using the open source Gorilla tag locomotion. So I'm going to go and expand my Gorilla rig in the hierarchy. There's two big objects here. We've got Gorilla rig, which is a game object that contains the spheres that are used to visualize where your hands are. And then we have where the magic is, Gorilla Player, which stores, that means a brilliant player script, which does all of the physics and the math for how your player moves based on where your hands are. So I think what happens is there are two cameras, and so here's the capsule. There's a main camera here. The capsule is what sort of collides with an object and prevents the camera from clipping through an object, which is very disorienting. Left hand tracking and right hand tracking. These are, they're XR. I was like, why didn't I? Think it's because I don't have the Meta SDK installed. I think I was trying to challenge myself to see if I could get everything to work without touching any of the Meta off-the-shelf prefabs, which it looks like I did. So these are all of the objects that are contained in the hand tracking. One thing you can do if you have the OpenXR package installed, which remember we do. So if we go to package manager, remember that I have the OpenXR plugin installed, which still wants me to update. And then the Oculus One, which I talked through yesterday. I want to restore controller objects, but not hand tracking objects. So I think one way to do that is to right click my hierarchy. I'm going to go down to XR, and I'm going to go down to XR Origin VR. So what this does is adds the stock XR rig, which contains the camera offset. So if I go into my Gorilla player, we have how it's rigged up right now, which is it wants the right hand transform, which is to the wrist, and then we have the left wrist. Package for that contains the left hand tracking. Let's open up their sample scene. Let's see what they do. This is the sausage factory. This is me. It wants to be updated. Let's go and update it. And then let's import the XR device. So I'm going to import starter assets from the XR interaction toolkit. Can't let engineers design all your stuff. They're going to name stuff. This is the XR input modality manager. The transform stabilizer. Not the prefab. Could add the XR origin. Let's do that. Let's add this prefab and then let's break it up and just grab the pieces we need. So we're going to go back to our other scene. Drag and drop the XR origin prefab into our scene. It's going to really complicate things because it now has two cameras. It's going to really want to use the new one. I wonder if I could just copy this. All right, let's try this. This is going to be much faster. So in Unity, if you go to component and you click the three little dots, you can say copy component, and then we're going to go into our our controller. We're going to click the three dots. We're going to say paste component as paste component values. We have our controllers with our tracked pose drivers, left hand, right hand controller. And that should get the position of the controllers now using XRI. If I look into my rig, right, I have XR origin. I don't have this thing, XR input modality manager. I think I really have to drag and drop these. So here's the last thing I need to fix. So this is all working except it's pointing to a wrong transform that I disabled. So I'm going to drag and drop left hand controller here, right hand controller here. And that should use my new input setup. So I guess we just add that and see if will toggle on when using motion controllers. So I guess this is supposed to switch between hand tracking and controller tracking. Go to XR origin, this is called I really only have left controller and right controller. We are going to drag left hand controller into left controller. We're going to drag right hand to right hand controller. And then we're going to see if that fixes what we're talking about here. Left controller. Ooh, this feels like we're on track here. And then maybe I don't need all this like XR IBS. And then we're going to say right hand controller. We're going to add tracked post driver. You might need both. We have generic XR controller. And this is going to be right controller, position and rotation. And that's it. Let's try it out. Yeah, Jordan hates that, which means I love it. Oh, we did it. Look at that. Boom, baby. We got hands back. They're a little weird, but I think we can fix that later. Boom. We're moving. This is sick. We needed the tracked pose driver from the generic controller, not the input thing. Cool. And then when I look at my hierarchy here, so these values are now updating from the generic controller. I have this weird new object called trackables, which I don't know what that is, but okay. Well, we did what we set out to do. We fixed controller tracking for the Gorilla Rig. Next step is we're going to import a new custom map from one of our players. Yo, it's crazy. Teach you a little bit about how to import models, how to configure physics for them, how to adjust materials, stuff like that. And then the last thing that we're going to do for this next map chat update is we are going to add something to do. Everyone's like, it's so boring. What do you do in this game? And so we're going to create a Ninja Warrior mode, and it's going to be time trial based. So you're going to start here, you're going to hit a button, and then you're going to run to the finish, and you're going to hit the button there. And so I already have the first parts of this, which are a sort of synced up stopwatch. So we're going to need a networked stopwatch in order to do some time trialing. So we've got controller tracking back, which is super exciting and took a little longer than I thought it would. Longer using hand tracking, and it works for the Quest. So thanks for hanging in there, and I'll be back here in a bit.